The 2026 World Cup final is about to become the most jaw-dropping entertainment spectacle in history. Have you wondered what happens when pop royalty, global mega bands, and wild internet sensations collide on the biggest stage on Earth? Will a certain Latin queen return to reclaim her throne? Can a chaotic streamer really share the spotlight with a Hollywood stunt god? Fasten your seatbelts, because we are breaking down the exclusive list of 14 superstars slated to perform at this mega event. Which legend will steal the show, and whom will you leave speechless? Let's dive right in.
Number 14, Speed. Let's talk about the absolute wild card of this entire lineup. Because if you thought the World Cup stage was strictly reserved for polished pop stars, classical musicians, and legendary bands, you clearly haven't been paying attention to the monumental digital revolution happening right before our eyes. Darren Watkins Jr., universally known to billions of internet citizens as the irrepressible Speed, is officially stepping onto the sacred turf of the 2026 World Cup final. And honestly, the internet might literally break into a million irreversible pieces when he does. This isn't just a standard performance, it is a massive cultural statement about the shifting tectonic plates of global fame. Think about it for a second. How does a teenager who started out screaming at video games in his messy bedroom completely hijack the global mainstream sports narrative to the point where FIFA calls him up for the final? Speed's meteoric, explosive rise is a breathtaking testament to the raw, unfiltered, and utterly unpredictable power of modern Gen Z internet culture. From his notoriously viral moments of aggressively barking at absolute strangers on streams, to his deeply emotional, almost fanatical obsession with Cristiano Ronaldo that sent him on a worldwide, years-long quest just to finally embrace his idol, Speed has completely redefined what it means to be a global entertainer in the 21st century. He doesn't have a carefully curated PR team flawlessly scripting his every move. Instead, he operates purely on a chaotic, hard-on-his-sleeve, adrenaline-fueled energy. And that is exactly why millions of loyal fans fiercely protect and adore him as one of their own. Whenever he spontaneously shows up at professional football matches around the globe, the stadium crowds roar for him just as deafeningly as they do for the actual legendary players on the pitch, proving he has fully transcended the restrictive role of a mere YouTube streamer to become a living, breathing mascot for the beautiful game's newest, most passionate generation of fans. So what on earth is this unpredictable force of nature actually going to do at the heavily regulated World Cup final? Will he successfully orchestrate a massive stadium-wide "Sui" chant that violently shakes the very concrete foundations of the arena? Are we going to witness one of his trademark gravity-defying high-risk backflips right in the dead center of a meticulously choreographed multi-million-dollar musical number alongside actual pop royalty? Or maybe, just maybe, he will simply bring that raw, unhinged streaming energy to a live televised audience of over 1 billion people, proving once and for all that the invisible barrier between digital internet creators and traditional Hollywood-tier celebrities has finally, completely vanished into thin air. The bold inclusion of Speed in this legendary, highly calculated move by the organizers is a brilliant, highly calculated move by the organizers to aggressively inject an uncontrollable dose of youthful adrenaline into the traditional ceremony. It actively challenges our entire perception of modern fame and leaves us desperately begging the question: is the traditional sporting world truly ready for the beautiful, unscripted chaos he is about to unleash on the most important broadcasting day in human history? The suspense is genuinely keeping us on the edge of our seats, because with Speed, you have to remember that there is absolutely no script, no safety net, and zero predictability. Prepare yourselves for what will undoubtedly be the most explosive, highly debated, and universally meme-worthy moment in the extensive history of the World Cup, because when Speed takes the global stage, absolutely anything is possible, and the only guarantee is pure, unfiltered entertainment.
Number 13, Sesame Street and the Muppets.
Let's take a massive, emotionally overwhelming pivot from the hyperkinetic digital chaos of modern internet streamers and dive deep into a wave of pure, unadulterated nostalgia that is guaranteed to leave absolutely no dry eye in the colossal World Cup stadium. When the organizers officially announced that the legendary casts of Sesame Street and the Muppets were joining forces for the 2026 World Cup final, a collective gasp of pure joy echoed around the globe. Because this is not just a standard halftime performance, it is a heartwarming reunion with the beloved fuzzy friends who literally taught billions of us how to read, laugh, and love. Picture this incredibly surreal scene, the sprawling multi-million-dollar pitch of the most fiercely competitive sporting event on the planet suddenly transforming into a vibrant, colorful, and wildly chaotic neighborhood where Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, Elmo, Big Bird, and Cookie Monster stand shoulder to shoulder with the greatest football legends alive today. Why on earth would FIFA bring educational puppets to a highly intense football final? The answer is so beautifully simple and profoundly moving. Football, much like the timeless, boundary-breaking genius of Jim Henson's magical creations, is a universal language that completely transcends borders, languages, politics, and generations, uniting families in living rooms from Tokyo to Buenos Aires. Think about the sheer historical weight and cultural magnitude of these iconic characters. Since Sesame Street first revolutionized television education way back in 1969, and The Muppet Show completely redefined primetime comedy in the 1970s, these meticulously crafted foam and fleece icons have become deeply embedded into the very DNA of global human pop culture. They have confidently interviewed sitting presidents, performed at the Oscars, collaborated with the biggest pop stars and rock musicians on Earth, and comforted children through devastating global crises. But headlining a World Cup final is an entirely new, mind-boggling frontier even for them. Imagine the absolute theatrical spectacle of Miss Piggy aggressively demanding the global spotlight and hilariously flirting with the referees or star players, while Kermit desperately tries to direct a massive stadium-wide sing-along of Rainbow Connection, or maybe even a reimagined football-themed rendition of the classic Mana Mana alongside a giant roaring crowd of 80,000 hardcore football fanatics. The emotional resonance of seeing Big Bird casting a giant yellow shadow on the perfectly manicured turf, or Oscar the Grouch abruptly popping out of a customized golden trash can right next to the legendary World Cup trophy, will instantly transport every single adult in the audience straight back to the innocent, carefree days of their childhood, while simultaneously mesmerizing the younger generation of fans who are just discovering this timeless magic for the very first time. This brilliant entertainment crossover is an absolute masterclass in emotional storytelling, strategically designed to remind us that behind the intense international rivalry, the aggressive tackles, and the heart-stopping penalty shootouts, this beautiful game is ultimately about joy, global community, and bringing the entire human family together under one massive roof. Will we see Animal furiously banging on a drum set to hype up the teams as they confidently walk out of the dark tunnel? Are Bert and Ernie going to host their own hilarious mock commentary of the championship match from a VIP stadium box? The possibilities for pure, heartwarming, and completely unscripted entertainment are absolutely endless, making this deeply nostalgic, wildly colorful, and universally adored ensemble one of the most highly anticipated, emotionally fulfilling, and culturally significant halftime acts in the entire illustrious history of sports broadcasting.
Number 12. Laura Pausini. Now, prepare to let your emotions soar completely out of bounds as we welcome the undisputed queen of Latin pop and the absolute pride of Italy to the grandest sporting stage on the entire planet. When you think about the sheer emotional intensity, the operatic drama, and the heart-wrenching passion of a World Cup final, there is arguably no artist in the history of modern music whose vocals can match that raw, stadium-shaking energy, quite like the legendary Laura Pausini. For over 3 decades, this powerhouse diva has been the definitive soundtrack to millions of heartbreaks, triumphs, and romantic confessions across Europe, Latin America, and far beyond, proving that true musical genius knows absolutely no linguistic borders. Her inclusion in the 2026 lineup is a masterstroke of pure sophistication and artistic gravitas, offering a breathtaking contrast to the chaotic energy of internet streamers and bringing a profound sense of prestige that only a multi-Grammy-winning, Oscar-nominated icon can deliver. Think about the incredible trajectory of her career, from winning the prestigious Sanremo Music Festival as a teenager in 1993 with the timeless anthem La Solitudine, to becoming the first ever non-Italian female artist to fill the massive San Siro Stadium in Milan. Laura has spent her life conquering colossal arenas. Her voice is not just a musical instrument, it is a force of nature, characterized by an astonishingly rich, velvet tone and a soaring, effortless range that can cut through the roaring thunder of 80,000 screaming football fans like a hot knife through butter. What makes Laura so uniquely perfect for a global event of this magnitude is her rare, unparalleled ability to sing with absolute, flawless perfection in Italian, Spanish, English, French, and Portuguese, instantly connecting with billions of viewers watching from every single corner of the globe. Imagine the breathtaking atmosphere inside the stadium as the glaring floodlights suddenly dim, a hush falls over the massive crowd, and Laura steps out onto the pitch, draped in haute couture elegance, accompanied only by a sweeping orchestral arrangement. The sheer emotional weight of her performing a soaring anthemic ballad about resilience, hope, and unity will send literal shivers down the spine of every single person watching, effortlessly mirroring the exact high-stakes drama and tearful passion felt by the players who have sacrificed everything just to stand on that field. Will she surprise the global audience by bringing out a special guest for a surprise multilingual duet? Or will she deliver a completely solo, show-stopping performance of her most iconic hits that leaves the entire world entirely breathless? The anticipation is absolutely palpable because Laura Pausini doesn't just sing a song, she lives it, she breathes it, and she commands the stage with a fierce, romantic intensity that demands your absolute, undivided attention. Get ready to experience a transcendent musical moment that will beautifully elevate the World Cup final from a mere sporting match into an unforgettable, deeply moving, and legendary cultural event for the ages.
Number 11. Burna Boy. Get ready to feel the ground beneath your feet violently shake as the unstoppable rhythm of modern Africa completely takes over the biggest sporting arena on the planet. When we talk about global musical colonization in the modern era, it is absolutely impossible not to talk about Damini Ebenalua Ogulu, universally hailed by billions of music lovers as the mighty Burna Boy. The genius pioneer of Afrofusion is officially bringing his infectious, stadium-shaking bass lines, rich cultural heritage, and unmatched charismatic energy to the 2026 World Cup final, and it is going to be nothing short of a historic celebration of sonic liberation. Think about the incredible, mind-boggling journey of this global icon, from the vibrant, chaotic streets of Port Harcourt, Nigeria, to completely shattering historical records as the very first African artist to solo sell out massive, iconic stadiums in the United States and the United Kingdom, including London Stadium and City Field. Burna Boy has single-handedly elevated Afrobeats from a regional sound into an aggressive, dominant global movement that commands absolute respect on the mainstream charts. His voice is a rich, smoky, and deeply resonant instrument that effortlessly blends traditional Yoruba and Igbo sounds with dancehall, reggae, and American hip-hop, creating a universal sonic language that forces everyone to move.
What happens when this massive cultural force collides with the intense adrenaline of a football world championship? The emotional synergy is absolutely perfect, because football is deeply woven into the fabric of African culture, representing hope, survival, and ultimate triumph against all odds, which are the exact themes Burna Boy passionately champions in his Grammy-winning masterpiece album Twice as Tall. Imagine the electric, intoxicating atmosphere inside the stadium as the blazing spotlights flash, the massive horn section blares, and Burna Boy steps onto the pitch with his signature larger-than-life presence, instantly launching into the global anthem Yay, or the bittersweet stadium-wide sing-along of Last Last. The sheer power of 80,000 fans chanting his lyrics in unison will create an unforgettable, transcendent cultural bridge, connecting Lagos, London, New York, and Buenos Aires in a single beautiful heartbeat. Will he surprise the massive global audience by bringing out legendary African football heroes onto the stage for a collaborative celebration? Or will he unleash a brand new, unreleased track specifically written to honor the beautiful game? The anticipation is driving fans completely wild, because Burna Boy doesn't just perform a concert, he orchestrates a full-blown cultural revolution that demands your absolute, undivided attention and fills your soul with pure pride. Are you ready to witness the African giant truly conquer the world stage and leave an indelible mark on the history of sports entertainment? This performance is guaranteed to be an explosive, deeply inspiring, and rhythmically hypnotic spectacle that will be talked about for generations to come, proving once and for all that African music holds the throne of modern pop culture.
Number 10. BTS. Prepare yourselves for an absolute unprecedented level of fandom hysteria, because the undisputed kings of 21st century pop music are finally reuniting on the biggest, most prestigious stage in the entire universe. When the rumors first started circulating that Jin, Suga, J-Hope, RM, Jimin, V, and Jungkook would share a stage for the 2026 World Cup final, the entire global music industry held its breath, because a live performance by the full 7-member lineup of BTS is not just a concert, it is a colossal, internet-breaking cultural event that happens once in a generation. Think about the sheer historical weight and emotional magnitude of this specific moment. After completing their mandatory military enlistments and pursuing massive solo endeavors, this monumental performance marks a triumphant, deeply anticipated return to collective global domination. The journey of these 7 young men from a small, underfunded agency in Seoul to becoming the first Korean act to top the Billboard Hot 100, sell out Wembley Stadium in minutes, and speak directly at the United Nations is a breathtaking testament to human resilience, artistic perfection, and the absolute power of global unity. Their music completely shatters the restrictive barriers of language, race, and nationality, creating a deeply devoted, multi-million-strong global family known as Army, which perfectly mirrors the beautiful, borderless spirit of the World Cup itself. Imagine the jaw-dropping electric atmosphere inside the stadium as the house lights suddenly vanish. A sea of glowing purple light engulfs 80,000 fans, and the iconic 7 silhouettes appear under the blinding stadium floodlights. The sonic boom of their razor-sharp, flawlessly synchronized choreography, combined with their incredibly infectious, multi-genre anthems like Dynamite, Butter, or the deeply reflective Life Goes On, will send shockwaves through the live audience and the billions of viewers watching from home. What kind of mind-boggling spectacle are they preparing for this historic halftime show? Will they pay homage to their roots with an aggressively high-energy, hip-hop-infused dance break that leaves the world entirely speechless? Or perhaps we will witness a deeply emotional stadium-wide sing-along of yet to come, transforming the intense, high-stakes football arena into a massive sanctuary of hope and shared humanity.
The incredible synergy between the elite athleticism on the pitch and the flawless, unmatched showmanship of BTS will elevate this final into an unforgettable pop culture milestone. The suspense is driving the entire internet completely wild, because when these 7 superstars step onto the world stage together, they don't just perform a set, they create history, redefine the boundaries of modern entertainment, and prove once and for all that their bulletproof bond is absolutely eternal.
Number 9. Coldplay. Turn the stadium lights completely down and prepare to be entirely engulfed by a breathtaking ocean of kaleidoscopic color, because the absolute masters of stadium rock euphoria are stepping onto the pitch to deliver what will undoubtedly be the most visually spectacular, emotionally transcendent halftime show in the entire history of sports broadcasting. When Chris Martin, Johnny Buckland, Guy Berryman, and Will Champion confidently march onto the grand stage of the 2026 World Cup Final, they aren't just bringing a set list of chart-topping hits, they are bringing an entire glowing universe of love, hope, and cosmic connection that has spent the last quarter of a century uniting billions of human souls across every single continent. Think about the unparalleled, mind-boggling scale of this legendary British band's live legacy. From their humble indie rock beginnings in London to shattering all-time box office records with their massive, eco-friendly Music of the Spheres World Tour, Coldplay has single-handedly mastered the rare, beautiful art of making an 80,000-seat sports arena feel as intimate, raw, and deeply personal as a tiny candlelit room. Their music is an incredibly rich, soaring tapestry of anthemic piano melodies, driving bass lines, and deeply reflective lyrics that speak directly to the shared human experience, flawlessly mirroring the exact high-stakes drama, heartbreaking vulnerability, and ultimate ecstasy felt by the elite football players fighting for their lives on the very same turf. Imagine the absolutely surreal, jaw-dropping atmosphere inside the massive stadium as the iconic opening piano chords of A Sky Full of Stars, or the timeless symphonic majesty of Viva La Vida begin to echo through the night air, and tens of thousands of synchronized glowing LED wristbands instantly ignite in perfect harmony, transforming the pitch into a living, breathing constellation of pulsing light. The sheer sonic power of Chris Martin sprinting across the field, his voice soaring effortlessly into the night sky as the entire global audience chants the iconic "Oh, oh, 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 oh" refrain in unison, will send literal, uncontrollable shivers down the spine of every single person watching across the globe. What kind of monumental surprise does this legendary four-piece have up their sleeves for this historic performance? Will they aggressively advocate for global sustainability by powering their entire stage using kinetic stadium flooring danced on by the fans themselves? Or will they shock the world by inviting a secret lineup of past global collaborators out onto the pitch for a massive cross-genre musical crossover that will completely break the internet? The anticipation is driving music and sports fanatics absolutely wild, because Coldplay doesn't just put on a traditional rock concert, they orchestrate a profoundly moving, deeply spiritual celebration of global community and human resilience that demands your absolute, undivided attention and fills your soul with pure, unadulterated joy. Are you ready to watch the night sky completely light up and witness these absolute kings of stadium pop rock etch their name permanently into the eternal folklore of the beautiful game? Get ready, because this performance is guaranteed to be an unforgettable, visually blinding, and emotionally overwhelming masterpiece that will stay with the world forever. Number 8. Gustavo Dudamel. Prepare to witness a staggering, monumentally historic collision of elite athletic precision and raw classical power that will completely shatter your expectations of what a halftime show can be. When the organizers announced that the legendary Venezuelan conductor Gustavo Dudamel would bring his explosive baton to the 2026 World Cup final, the sports and art worlds collided in absolute awe, because this is the ultimate validation of classical music as a stadium-level spectacle. Forget the outdated, stuffy stereotype of orchestra conductors standing rigidly in front of quiet audiences. Dudamel is a living, breathing force of nature, famous for his wildly expressive, high-energy and sweat-drenched style that makes him look more like an elite rock star or a passionate football manager barking commands from the touchline. Raised in the revolutionary musical soil of Venezuela's El Sistema program, Gustavo rose from a working-class background to conquer the world's most prestigious podiums, from the Los Angeles Philharmonic to the historic New York Philharmonic, proving that orchestral music belongs fiercely to the masses. His voice is the grand symphonic roar of 100 classical instruments operating at the absolute peak of human synchronization, beautifully mirroring the complex tactical choreography of the 22 world-class athletes fighting for ultimate glory on the pitch. Imagine the jaw-dropping cinematic atmosphere inside the stadium as the high-tech pop lights abruptly fade into a dramatic, high-contrast spotlight, and Dudamel stands elevated over a massive world-class symphony orchestra right on the center circle. The sheer sonic adrenaline of him leading a furious, epic rendition of Beethoven's Ninth or a driving, rhythmically complex Latin American masterpiece will send uncontrollable shivers down the spines of 80,000 screaming fans and billions watching at home. Will he surprise the planet by integrating massive electronic beats into his classical arrangements? Or will he collaborate live with the world's greatest pop stars to create a genre-bending wall of sound never heard before in human history? The suspense is electrifying because Dudamel doesn't just conduct a score, he injects it with the fierce, burning passion that demands your absolute, undivided attention. Get ready to watch the beautiful game get elevated into a breathtaking, roaring, operatic triumph that will be remembered forever. Number 7. Nicole Scherzinger. Get ready to witness absolute entertainment royalty and a vocal powerhouse take over the grandest stage on the planet, because this next performer completely redefines what it means to be a true, elite, triple-threat icon in the modern era. When the name Nicole Scherzinger violently flashes across the massive stadium screens at the 2026 World Cup final, the global audience is going to experience a level of raw, unfiltered stage presence that very few artists in human history can ever hope to match. Think about the mind-blowing, relentless evolution of this global superstar, from her explosive days as the undisputed focal point and fierce lead vocalist of the record-shattering pop phenomenon the Pussycat Dolls, delivering iconic chart-topping hits that totally dominated global airwaves, to her absolute awe-inspiring conquest of the prestigious West End and Broadway stages. Her recent legendary, critically acclaimed performance as Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard left international critics completely speechless and earned her the highest theatrical accolades, proving that beneath the glamorous pop star exterior lies a deeply serious, classically trained vocal beast capable of shaking the very concrete foundations of any massive sports arena. Nicole doesn't just sing a song or walk through a highly rehearsed routine. She completely consumes the stage with a primal, deeply emotional intensity and a fierce perfectionism that demands absolute, breathless attention from every single eye in the room. Her voice is an incredibly versatile, soaring weapon that can transition effortlessly from slick, high-energy contemporary pop belts to dramatic, spine-chilling operatic high notes that will easily pierce through the deafening roars of 80,000 rabid football fans. What kind of jaw-dropping spectacle is this ultimate diva preparing for the championship match? Will she shock the entire world by delivering a masterfully choreographed, high-octane pop medley that reminds everyone why she is a global dance legend? Or will she strip everything away to unleash a soaring, deeply theatrical anthem that beautifully mirrors the high-stakes, heartbreaking, and triumphant drama unfolding on the football pitch?
The sheer anticipation is driving the global entertainment community wild because Nicole Scherzinger treats every single performance like a battle for survival, injecting a burning, infectious passion that completely elevates the entire halftime event into a historic pop culture milestone. Are you truly prepared to watch this legendary stage empress confidently claim the ultimate sporting crown and leave an indelible mark on World Cup history? Get ready for a visual and auditory masterclass that will stay burned into the collective memory of billions of viewers forever.
Number 6. Robbie Williams. Prepare for an absolute masterclass in stadium rock swagger and pure, unadulterated charisma because the undisputed king of European pop showmanship is officially stepping back onto the sacred World Cup turf to reclaim his crown as the ultimate entertainer. When Robbie Williams marches onto the pitch for the 2026 World Cup final, it won't just be a standard musical performance. It will be a triumphant, emotionally charged stadium takeover by a man who literally holds the Guinness World Record for selling 1.6 million tickets in a single day. Think about the incredible, historical, full-circle moment unfolding right before our eyes. After famously causing a massive global stir with his highly debated, rule-breaking opening ceremony performance at the 2018 World Cup in Moscow, Robbie is back on the FIFA stage with an even bigger, more explosive chip on his shoulder. His journey from being the rebellious teenage heartthrob of Take That to becoming an absolute solo phenomenon with over 85 million records sold worldwide is a breathtaking testament to the power of raw, unfiltered human connection and relentless, arena-shaking confidence. Robbie doesn't just sing into a microphone, he uses his massive lifeline-sized personality to grab 80,000 fans by the throat and force them to sing along to every single word, making him the absolute perfect fit for the high-stakes, adrenaline-fueled atmosphere of a world championship match. His voice is a rich, raspy, and deeply expressive instrument that effortlessly carries the emotional weight of football's ultimate agony and ecstasy, beautifully mirroring the exact feelings of the 22 elite players who have sacrificed everything just to stand on that field. Imagine the electric, jaw-dropping atmosphere inside the stadium as the opening brass section of Let Me Entertain You or the timeless symphonic intro of Angels begins to blast through the massive sound system, and a sea of 80,000 hands instantly goes up in perfect unison. The sheer sonic power of Robbie strutting down the touchline, locking eyes with the roaring crowd, and delivering a powerhouse performance will send literal, uncontrollable shivers down the spine of every single person watching across the globe. What kind of unpredictable, jaw-dropping stunt does this legendary bad boy of British pop have planned for this historic final? Will he cause another massive viral internet moment with an unscripted gesture on live global television? Or will he stun the world by inviting a surprise lineup of football legends onto the stage to sing his iconic anthems with him? The anticipation is driving fans completely wild because Robbie Williams treats the World Cup pitch like his own personal living room, injecting a fierce, infectious energy that demands your absolute, undivided attention. Get ready to witness a truly legendary, high-octane spectacle that will permanently etch Robbie's name into the folklore of the beautiful game.
Number 5. Madonna. Brace yourselves for a moment of absolute pop cultural history, because the undisputed, trend-setting monarch of modern music is stepping onto the grandest sporting stage on the planet to remind the entire world exactly why she holds the crown. When the iconic name Madonna flashes across the massive stadium screens at the 2026 World Cup final, the global audience isn't just getting a halftime act, they are witnessing the ultimate architect of modern entertainment reclaim her throne in front of billions. For over 4 decades, this boundary-breaking, shape-shifting powerhouse has single-handedly defined, disrupted, and revolutionized global pop culture, proving that true legendary status isn't just about singing hits, it's about absolute sonic and visual domination. Her inclusion in this star-studded lineup brings an unparalleled level of historical prestige, theatrical grandeur, and pure star power that only the best-selling female recording artist of all time can possibly deliver. Think about the staggering magnitude of her career, from her gritty beginnings in the 1980s New York club scene to her earth-shattering celebration tour. Madonna has spent her life turning massive stadiums into her own personal cathedrals of high-fashion, high-concept performance art. Her voice and her music are deeply woven into the collective DNA of humanity, cutting across generations, borders, and backgrounds, which perfectly mirrors the unifying, borderless spirit of the World Cup itself. Imagine the jaw-dropping, electric atmosphere inside the arena as the stadium floodlights abruptly plunge into pitch darkness. An ominous cinematic silence falls over 80,000 fans, and the unmistakable silhouette of the Queen of Pop emerges from the shadows. The sheer sonic adrenaline of her launching into a stadium-shaking, hyper-choreographed medley of timeless anthems like Vogue, Like a Prayer, or Hung Up will send literal, uncontrollable shockwaves through the live crowd and the massive global broadcast. What kind of mind-boggling, boundary-pushing spectacle is this master of reinvention preparing for the championship match? Will she shock the world with a futuristic multi-million-dollar set design that utilizes cutting-edge augmented reality? Or will she bring out a massive army of dancers for a flawlessly synchronized routine that leaves the entire world completely breathless? The anticipation is driving both music fanatics and sports enthusiasts absolutely wild, because Madonna never just plays it safe. She treats every single stage like a revolution, injecting a fierce, uncompromising passion that demands your absolute, undivided attention. Get ready to witness a transcendent musical moment that will beautifully elevate the World Cup final into an unforgettable, deeply moving, and legendary cultural milestone for the ages.
Number 4. Justin Bieber. Get ready for an absolute, unprecedented wave of global hysteria, because one of the most successful, universally recognized, and record-shattering artists of the 21st century is stepping onto the grandest stage on Earth. When Justin Bieber takes the pitch for the 2026 World Cup final, it won't just be a standard musical performance. It will be a deeply emotional, monumentally historic celebration of a career that has literally grown up under the relentless glare of the global spotlight. Think about the staggering, mind-boggling journey of this global icon, from a small-town Canadian kid posting raw acoustic covers on YouTube to becoming a dominant global phenomenon with over 150 million records sold. Justin has spent his entire life rewriting the rules of modern pop stardom. His inclusion in this legendary lineup brings an elite, unmatched level of contemporary star power and cross-generational appeal, seamlessly bridging the gap between nostalgic pop royalty and the modern digital era. Justin's voice has evolved from the sweet, youthful tones of his teenage years into a rich, soulful, and deeply expressive R&B-infused instrument that effortlessly carries the emotional weight of global anthems, making him the absolute perfect fit for the high-stakes, adrenaline-fueled atmosphere of a world championship match. Imagine the absolutely surreal, jaw-dropping atmosphere inside the massive stadium as the opening chords of Sorry, Stay, or the timeless, soaring melody of Love Yourself begin to echo through the night air, and a sea of 80,000 fans instantly ignites in perfect harmony. The sheer sonic power of Justin commanding the massive field, his vocals cutting effortlessly through the deafening roars of the crowd, will send literal, uncontrollable shivers down the spine of every single person watching across the globe. What kind of monumental spectacle does this pop superstar have planned for this historic final? Will he shock the world with a flawlessly synchronized, high-energy dance routine alongside an army of elite dancers? Or will he strip everything away for a raw, deeply intimate acoustic moment on the center circle that beautifully mirrors the intense vulnerability and high-stakes drama felt by the players on the field? The anticipation is driving music and sports fanatics absolutely wild, because Justin Bieber doesn't just play to a crowd, he connects with them on a deeply human level, injecting a fierce, infectious passion that demands your absolute, undivided attention.
Are you ready to witness a truly legendary, high-octane performance that will permanently etch Justin's name into the folklore of the beautiful game? Get ready, because this performance is guaranteed to be an unforgettable, visually stunning, and emotionally overwhelming masterpiece that will stay with the world forever.
Number 3. Shakira. Get ready for the absolute, definitive climax of football entertainment royalty, because the undisputed reigning monarch of the World Cup is finally returning to her rightful throne to set the grandest stadium on earth on absolute fire. When the iconic name Shakira violently flashes across the massive stadium screens at the 2026 World Cup final, a collective roar of pure ecstasy will shake the planet. Because let's be entirely honest, it simply doesn't feel like a real World Cup until this global Colombian powerhouse steps onto the pitch. Think about the unparalleled, mind-boggling historical legacy she carries. From her iconic, earth-shattering performance of Hips Don't Lie at the 2006 final in Germany, to delivering the undisputed most successful sports anthem in human history with Waka Waka, this time for Africa, in 2010, and cementing her legendary status in Brazil in 2014, Shakira's very name is deeply woven into the sacred folklore of the beautiful game. She is not just a musical act, she is a living, breathing symbol of global football culture, bringing an unmatched level of rhythmic passion, athletic showmanship, and cross-continental unity that no other artist in the history of modern music can ever hope to match. Her voice is a rich, fiercely unique, and deeply resonant instrument that effortlessly blends raw rock vocals, traditional Middle Eastern vocal fry, and infectious Latin pop beats, creating a universal sonic language that instantly compels billions of human souls across every single time zone to start dancing. Imagine the jaw-dropping, electric atmosphere inside the stadium as the house lights vanish, a furious, primal drumbeat begins to echo through the night air, and Shakira emerges under the blinding floodlights, her signature hips moving with a hypnotic, gravity-defying precision that completely defies human anatomy. The sheer sonic adrenaline of 80,000 fans chanting her lyrics in perfect unison will create an unforgettable cultural explosion, beautifully mirroring the high-stakes drama, heartbreaking vulnerability, and ultimate ecstasy felt by the elite players fighting for glory on the very same turf. What kind of monumental spectacle is this ultimate stage empress preparing for this historic final? Will she shock the world with a hyperkinetic, multi-genre medley of her greatest hits alongside an army of hundreds of traditional dancers? Or will she unleash a brand new, stadium-shaking anthem specifically designed to break the internet and define a whole new generation of football history? The anticipation is driving sports and music fanatics absolutely wild, because Shakira never just plays to a crowd, she completely consumes the arena with a fierce, hard-on-her-sleeve passion and a mesmerizing stage presence that demands your absolute, undivided attention. Are you truly prepared to witness the ultimate queen of pop rock confidently claim her football crown once again and leave an indelible mark on World Cup history? Get ready for a visual and auditory masterclass that will stay burned into the collective memory of billions of viewers. Number 2. Jennifer Hudson. Prepare to let your emotions completely overflow as we welcome the ultimate vocal powerhouse and the rarest of entertainment royalty to the grandest sporting stage on the entire planet. When you think about the sheer emotional gravity, the monumental stakes, and the heart-stopping drama of a World Cup final, there is arguably no voice in modern history that can match that raw, stadium-shaking intensity quite like the legendary Jennifer Hudson. As one of the elite few to achieve the coveted EGOT status, winning an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony, J-Hud brings an unparalleled level of prestige, artistic gravitas, and pure musical excellence that only a true cultural icon can deliver.
Her inclusion in this star-studded lineup is a masterstroke of pure sophistication, offering a breathtaking, soul-stirring contrast to the high-octane pop acts and bringing a profound sense of honor that commands absolute respect. Think about the incredible, inspiring trajectory of her career, from her shocking early elimination on American Idol to winning an Academy Award for her breakout role in Dreamgirls. Jennifer has spent her life turning setbacks into historic triumphs, beautifully mirroring the exact resilience and fighting spirit of the elite football players standing on the pitch. Her voice is not just a musical instrument, it is a literal force of nature, characterized by an astonishingly rich tone, a booming operatic belt, and an effortless gospel-infused range that can pierce through the deafening roars of 80,000 screaming fans like a hot knife through butter. Imagine the absolutely jaw-dropping atmosphere inside the massive stadium as the glaring floodlights suddenly dim, a deep hush falls over the crowd, and Jennifer steps out onto the center circle, commanding the space with a stunning, regal presence. The sheer sonic adrenaline of her launching into a soaring, anthemic ballad about hope, survival, and ultimate glory will send literal, uncontrollable shivers down the spine of every single person watching across the globe, transforming the football arena into a massive sanctuary of shared human emotion. What kind of mind-boggling, show-stopping spectacle is this vocal empress preparing for the final? Will she surprise the global audience by bringing out a massive 100-strong gospel choir to elevate her performance into a deeply spiritual experience? Or will she deliver a completely solo, raw performance of her most iconic hits that leaves the entire world entirely breathless? The anticipation is driving fans completely wild because Jennifer Hudson doesn't just sing a song, she pours her entire soul into every single lyric, injecting a fierce, burning passion that demands your absolute, undivided attention. Get ready to witness a transcendent, historic musical moment that will permanently etch Jennifer's name into the eternal folklore of the beautiful game.
Number 1. Tom Cruise. Hold on to your seats and brace yourselves for the absolute pinnacle of cinematic adrenaline, because the undisputed king of Hollywood action and the most fearless showman in movie history is about to turn the grandest sporting stage on Earth into his own personal danger zone. When the legendary name Tom Cruise violently flashes across the massive stadium screens at the 2026 World Cup final, the global audience isn't just getting a standard superstar appearance. They are witnessing a mind-boggling, boundary-pushing event that will permanently redefine the limits of live global entertainment. For over 4 decades, this global icon has single-handedly dominated the silver screen, risking his actual life to deliver the most jaw-dropping stunts ever filmed, proving that true legendary status is earned through absolute, uncompromising dedication. His spectacular inclusion as the final headliner of this star-studded lineup brings an unparalleled level of cinematic grandeur, heart-stopping suspense, and pure, unfiltered star power that only a man who hangs off the sides of flying airplanes and scales the tallest skyscrapers on Earth can possibly deliver. Think about the staggering magnitude of his career. From Top Gun to the relentless Mission Impossible franchise, Tom Cruise has spent his life turning the impossible into reality, perfectly mirroring the exact high-stakes grit, intense discipline, and ultimate triumph felt by the elite football players fighting for glory on the pitch. Imagine the jaw-dropping, electric atmosphere inside the arena as the stadium lights suddenly plunge into darkness. A thrilling, symphonic arrangement of his most iconic movie themes begins to echo through the night, and 80,000 fans collectively gasp as the spotlight shifts away from the field and points directly up at the stadium roof. The sheer sonic adrenaline of seeing this ultimate daredevil orchestrate a live multi-million-dollar stunt that leaves a billion viewers watching from home completely breathless will send literal, uncontrollable shockwaves through human history.
What kind of insane history-making spectacle is this master of action preparing for the championship match? Will he literally skydive out of a supersonic military jet straight onto the center circle of the pitch, holding the Golden World Cup trophy? Or will he shock the world with a high-speed motorcycle leap across the entire stadium that leaves everyone entirely speechless? The anticipation is driving both movie buffs and sports enthusiasts absolutely wild because Tom Cruise never plays it safe. He treats every single appearance like an elite mission, injecting a fierce, burning passion that demands your absolute, undivided attention. Are you truly prepared to witness the ultimate cinematic maverick, confidently claim the ultimate sporting crown, and deliver the most legendary closing moment in World Cup history? Get ready, because the final whistle is about to blow, and this performance is guaranteed to be an unforgettable, visually blinding, and emotionally overwhelming masterpiece that the world will talk about forever.
What an absolute mind-blowing journey through the most star-studded, chaotic, and jaw-dropping entertainment lineup the universe has ever witnessed. As the final echoes of symphonic masterpieces fade into the night, the blazing stadium floodlights gleam off the pristine golden trophy, and the smoke clears from the death-defying stunts, we are left staring at a completely rewritten, revolutionary blueprint for global pop culture. The 2026 World Cup final has officially transcended the traditional boundaries of a mere sports championship to become the ultimate crucible where Hollywood thrillers, wild internet chaos, timeless pop royalty, and sweeping symphonic grandeur collide in a single spectacular heartbeat. Think about the sheer historical weight and emotional magnitude of what we are about to witness, a historic night where a chaotic teenage streamer shares the exact same global spotlight as the legendary queen of pop and the cosmic harmony of global megabands. It is a stunning, breathtaking reflection of our beautifully fractured, hyper-connected modern world, proving once and for all that the invisible walls dividing traditional mainstream stardom and digital subcultures have permanently collapsed into dust. This isn't just entertainment anymore. It is a profound celebration of the universal human experience, flawlessly mirroring the exact agony, ecstasy, intense vulnerability, and ultimate triumph unfolding between the elite athletes fighting for eternal immortality on the pitch. Every single performance we've uncovered acts as a powerful, luminous cultural bridge, connecting billions of passionate souls across every single time zone, language barrier, and border under one colossal, roaring roof. So, as the entire planet stands completely still on the absolute edge of its seat, desperately waiting for the final whistle to blow and the curtains to rise on this historic spectacle, we have to leave you with one final thrilling question. Which of these legendary icons will deliver the defining, show-stopping moment that stays burned into the collective memory of humanity forever? And are you truly prepared for the greatest show in human history? The grand stage is set, the entire world is watching, and history is officially waiting to be written.